welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. My name is Adam Cook. I'm your friendly host with the most, and the Iggle Piggle to my Macapaka, Chris White, is here.
Hello. Wow, beautiful.
What?
No,
Okay.
that was lovely.
You're
Yeah,
alright?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
Cool. And obviously with us, it's not just Chris and I, with us as well, the Upsy Daisy, Adam Carroll.
I wanted to be Ninky Nonk.
You're alright though. You're alright, okay? You're good. I've run out of characters a little bit, so Gary, how do you fancy being a Tomblyboo?
I've got no response to this.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not a clue.
Not
a clue.
No. It's a. We won't stay on this long. It's because it's not a podcast about this, but it's a TV show called In the Night. I'm surprised Adam knows actually, because In the Night Garden's a kids' TV show that kind of from the makers of the Teletubbies, and it was equally as nuts. Adam, how do you know what In the Night Garden is?
Just a big fan, mate. Got all the Blu-rays. Love it. Do you know? Gripping last season.
Do you reckon they're on? Do you reckon they have actually released them on Blu-ray? Because it's one of those things that there'd be loads of episodes.
I've seen so much of it. I've seen so much because of my nephew. He loved it when he was small. So that's why.
Okay. Well, speaking of things small, or speaking of things that are aimed for small people, I think that's what this is.
That's a good one. That's a good segue right there.
It's not bad, actually, is it? They don't call me Adam the professional cook.
All right, don't take it too far, okay?
Chris went. Okay, I'll calm down. I've had a few bevies. I'm not going to lie. Chris went down to Windsor, which I'm told is in or around London, to play something that has. I'm going to be honest. I've gone from wow, this is amazing to kind of whatever to wow, this sounds amazing to kind of back it. What I'm saying is I can't make up my mind about it. So it's a good job that Chris White is here to not quite review, but tell us, should we be excited about Nintendo LABO?
I think it's a great product. I think the main thing that I took away was if I was going in to play it, it would be, oh cool, I've made a little RC car. Oh great, I've made the piano. But after the kind of, I'm not going to sit down myself and make all these other different things, because I think for a...
Well, hang on. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to find out, because I've seen lots of videos and I've seen lots of little clips and stuff, and I've heard all about it, but what I don't understand... So you get a pack, right? There's the two packs, there's the variety pack and there's the robot, right? Yeah. So when you make... I know you obviously didn't get to make everything, because that would be a long event, but so you've got a piano, the piano shapey thing, right?
Yep.
So when you've made that, do you have like a box full of spare parts to then turn it into a fishing rod?
So we didn't see what they came in. What I believe is that they're just like they're flat cardboard with like shapes that you push out, and then switch, like on the actual Switch screen, there's like a tutorial. So it's kind of like when you get like a new box of Lego and you open every page and it's got a different kind of instruction on there.
Yeah.
It's very similar. You hold in next on the Switch and it'll tell you what bits to push out next or fold over or whatever. So it all comes in like, I assume like an A3 pack with lift.
Yeah, I have actually seen these. They're just these huge, like a big sheets of cardboard, and you just sort of push them out, and then you kind of fold. But because I don't want to jump around too much, but like I'm slightly playing devil's advocate, and I'm thinking that probably Adam is going to be the one who, because I know he's a big fan of Nintendo, which I am too, but I'm guessing he's going to be the one that comes in here more excited, because the question I have is, so for example, the piano, you played it, there's a clip, I think in the article he wrote actually, the glowing article, the preview. What I couldn't obviously get from that is, so the keyboard or the piano is like there's one scale there, right? And I know you can change it like to go up and down an octave. But how does it actually sound? Because I'm assuming the sound is the
screen,
Switch speakers.
Yeah. It sounds good. Like I can't get my head around how it works. I couldn't. It's weird because you've got the piano there, and then you've got like a hole in the top left corner, and there are these like essentially they look like big bolts. And you put different, and then just cardboard, made out of cardboard, these bolts are, and you put the different pieces of cardboard into this hole, and it changes the sound of the keys. So
to cats,
to men shouting, obviously, because why not? And then like the different octaves and stuff. So I don't get it. It kind of blew my mind a little bit. And but it sounds...
It works on... It's cameras, isn't it? The cameras on
I still find it...
no, it's definitely amazing. But, like, do you know, sometimes, obviously, like we've said this before on the podcast, we're basically ourselves, but as the host, you have to kind of play a little bit of a role to kind of, this is proper behind the curtain shit, but, you have to move a conversation around. Yeah. But genuinely, I kind of don't want to say this because I feel like I'm going to piss people off, but and Adam, I need you to essentially lie and pretend you don't feel this way, okay? But Chris played the piano, okay, and I've seen people on Twitter, like with clips I've seen people like setting up like a drum beat. I saw one today. There's a drum beat playing on their PC, and because on the keyboard, I don't know why I'm focusing on the keyboard. It's the music thing, I think, but you can like record your piano, and you can shake it to vibrate the notes. I've seen, and you can. I think is there a button on the side you can make it like go up and down the note, which is awful on a cheap keyboard, let alone on a cardboard one. But the point I'm trying to ask, or the question I'm trying to ask, right, is that. Why? Why would I want to play a cardboard piano?
Well, this is it, right? The main focus is for kids or for families to do it together. There's 100% for me. That's what I would do, and that's what I will do. Like my kids.
Would your kids? Are they?
Oh God, they're so excited about this. Like they saw the videos and they're really hyped for it. And I think the main point I was trying to get across in the preview was that this is perfect for families to come together, or you and your nephews or whoever. But play with kids, play with family, and it's not just the things you end up making that come with like cutouts and stuff. It's when it goes beyond that, and obviously there are videos out there where people have built guitars and stuff like that. You could go to Ryman's or Partners, to us older guys, and you could buy cardboard, cut it out, or you can get like a box from the supermarket that used to carry all the veg in.
Sorry. You can go where?
To the supermarket.
I thought you said something else then.
What?
I thought you said Ryman's, and I was like, is that a shop I've never heard of?
Yeah, Ryman's is Partners now. It changed its name.
I'm sorry, I don't know what either of those things are. Yeah.
Well, no, it used to be stationery box.
Yes. What?
I'm sorry, I don't know what either of these three things are.
Right, fuck's sake. I'm going to have to get the Google out in a bit.
I'm sorry,
These sound like stationery and shit, basically.
Partners was a stationery shop, yeah.
No, listen, I believe that they exist.
But, it was a massive... I'm surprised because it's a massive shop. It used to be a pretty big deal, mate. I'm
sorry.
Well, it's fine. Maybe it doesn't exist down in Bournemouth. Maybe it just never got there. I don't know.
No, it's a bit posh down here, mate. People don't go and build things. They pay people to build. People like me to do things for them.
Fair enough. But back to it.
I'm lucky they let me live here. Basically, is what I'm saying. You
can literally go and buy your own cardboard, is what I was getting at, and you can cut your own shapes out and just make whatever you want. It's kind of, you take your imagination and do whatever you want with it. If your kid says I want to build a Dalek, you can build a Dalek and you can get it to move or whatever. It's got like a discover section on the actual software, and it's got like different outputs and stuff where you can kind of join them together to do different things, where it either makes the Joy-Cons vibrate or all sorts of stuff, which we never actually got to use. We got to kind of see a little demonstration where James was using a fishing rod to play the piano and that kind of stuff, but he was also showing how he built this like little cardboard gun that had a Joy-Con connected to it, and when he fired the gun it hit this little man and knocked him over. Like tiny little things like that can go from like that to something bigger. So
Have you seen the clip of someone? Obviously, it's out now in America at the time of recording. We've seen the clip of someone they've put like a top hat. It's because you mentioned James Bowden. He works for Nintendo. He once worked for God Is a Geek many years ago now. So someone's put like a top hat, and they've made their own little game, and they've put like a cardboard cutout over the Switch screen to isolate. So there's like a few windows. One is a counter, one's a reset button, and one's like a thing that says goal or whatever. And what they've done is they've set this up, obviously, because the Switch's Joy-Cons are connected to the Switch. And using the camera, they balance one of the Joy-Cons on the hat, and they're throwing cards in the hat. And every time a card goes in the hat, because it passes the Joy-Cons infrared, it registers a score.
Yeah.
is like that's not something that Nintendo have gone so fold like this. This is just someone who's gone. That's a cool thing I could do, and that. But the question is right, and this is proper devil's advocate because I can't answer it because I haven't experienced it. Your kid, how old did you say you?
So
did you say your kids?
5 and 8.
Okay, so they're a lot younger than mine. Yeah. Mine have shown no interest, but that's because they're well, my eldest is a teenager now, and my youngest is into football and Overwatch. But will you? The things you've just said about how cool it is and what you can do, will you do those things?
If my girls take to it, then yeah, I'll definitely, because it encourages creativity. I think that's always a good thing, regardless of whether it's writing music or building stuff out of cardboard. It always kind of helps. But that's the thing when it finally comes in, and we are reviewing it. It'll be a case of there'll be like a written review, but I will be doing a video showing the girls playing with it because that's the real review. Thing. So
yeah, because like, are we reviewing the software or the hardware or the whole thing? If you see what I mean, because the software is obviously has elements of these games within them, but also part of it. I keep thinking, right? I maybe this is unfair. I keep thinking of Little Big Planet, and how do you remember when all through Little Big Planet, but especially towards the end, people made these amazing things like where there was a whole plane you couldn't see in a level that was playing Final Fantasy music because they'd made it designed to do that. On top of all this other mad shit going on, and I keep thinking how I would look at that or play a few of them and go, this is amazing, but I would never ever be. I'm not saying I wouldn't be able to. I would have the ability if I were to sit down and do it, but the ingenuity and do you know what I mean? Like, Is it that to like its natural conclusion almost?
I suppose so, because the original designs aren't going to last forever. But it also, I mean, you've got to think whether later down the line they're going to release like Zelda, like build your own crossbow and arrow for Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Master Sword.
Or build your Mario Kart like controls. Or there's potential to incorporate different Nintendo franchises within it. They
could make. Right, because I want to ask you about the robot actually in a minute, but you know how obviously they made the robot. They could make, right? Oh man, I don't know whether I should say this in case someone steals this idea. You know how ARMS is a motion control game, but you have to hold it's not just motion. What about if they made cardboard boxing gloves with those inside?
Yeah. Easy.
And you could play it like that.
Easy to do, because the robot is already kind of incorporates that. So we'll go on to the robot like that because obviously we're going to talk about it anyway. The robot is it takes 4 hours to build if you follow from instructions, and because there's the big thing you wear on your back has so many mechanisms in it. It's quite ridiculous.
Cables.
Yeah, and there's a cable going to like a piece of cardboard you hold in your left hand, and a cable going to a piece of cardboard you hold in your right, and again to each one of your feet. And one of the Joy-Cons sits in a visor on your head, so it's not even part of the handheld things. And the visor, if you put it in front of your eyes, it goes into first person. If you lift it up, it goes into third person, so you can see the robot in front of you. And obviously you can walk and stomp in this city, and you move your arms forward to do so. So to have it for arms is quite a big possibility that would be something they may look at in the future. But you can fly as a robot. You can become a car and just drive around and shoot lasers. It's cool while it will last, but that's not a game you're going to want to play forever. So this is one kind of where the actual original designs are going to become like something taking a back seat to what the potential is. But you're right. So you're right in saying like, are people going to spend time building like tanks or whatever? Like, I personally wouldn't, because I want to play it with my kids because I think they'll love it. But I wouldn't sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to build a horse out of cardboard rather than go and play Red Dead Redemption 2 when it comes out. Do you know what I mean?
What a pull that was.
I think that's kind of like the biggest thing with this game, really, isn't it? Or, well, do we call it a game? I don't know.
That's the thing, we keep calling it a game. And
it's not.
Whatever you want to call
software.
it.
sort of.
It's difficult for us because, you know, it's not aimed at us. You know, we can sit here and say, you know, I wouldn't want to build a robot for 4 hours. I wouldn't want to do this, that, and the other. But it's not for us, so it's really kind of difficult.
But, like, I've heard I've heard a few people say that if you're, like myself, and a broad-shouldered gentleman, I should say, you can't even strap the backpack on. Is any truth?
Well, that, to be fair, I didn't try it because I didn't want to be that guy that puts his backpack on and can't fucking fit. And there's a whole room of like journalists sitting there awkwardly whilst I have to then take it off and sit back down and watch someone a lot slimmer do it. So, but I think you could adjust that easily because they're only like 2 straps that go over your shoulder. So you could sort that.
Yeah,
like the backpack, it's not the backpack is the problem. It's the strings that connect the things to. So that'll be fine. You know, it'll be fine for people to play, definitely. But
Adam's a big Nintendo fan. He's sat here quietly while I attempt to, in a host fashion, bash this. How do you feel?
Like, I'm just wondering, I don't think this is for us at all. Like, I don't think it's for age. I think it is for people with kids and stuff, and that's just the way it is. However, when you just said, like, down the line bringing out, like, franchises, I would be interested then. And that's just because I would be really happy to create Zelda stuff. Like, as of right now, a piano and things like that, it's fine. But, like, in terms of the game that's inside for the feature that you're making it for, like, is it good? Is it worth it? Do you spend much time on it? Like, when you're doing the piano, for example, how long does it last until you go, okay, I'm done with that. I want to build the next thing. And then do you have to just...
As long as the video are recorded. I was like, as I come in, I was like, oh, that's cool.
See,
on to the next one.
But like the robot, for example, that, because I was thinking, is this Nintendo's route into VR? And not VR like PSVR or Oculus, but VR like Gear VR. You know, you can strap the screen to your face and get a VR experience. But, right, the robot is TV gameplay, yeah?
Yeah.
But every time I've seen it in action, they've got a wall-mounted TV that's like 5 to 6 feet off the floor. And I don't have that. My TV is on a unit, because like a lot of people go, oh yeah, no, we've mounted our TV 6 foot up. It's like, why? If you're sat down on a sofa, why are you craning your neck to look up? You want to be looking straight ahead of yourself. Like, it's a very, I know, sort of early 2000s things. Like, oh yes, I've wall mounted my 42-inch plasma at 6'3", and you know, just you know, because that's the way we do things in this house.
Hang on, my fucking plasma's wall mounted my 42-inch. You bastard!
I know, but you know what I'm saying,
I
right?
do know what you're saying.
In all joking aside, I was so hoping you would take the bait there.
Yeah, I did.
Because I've obviously seen pictures of your television. I get sent them while you're at work. Yes, but it's seriously, like, I don't know it would be comfortable to play where I sort of play because I'd sort of be looking down, and I wonder if this is.
So how would you play VR? Would you be sat down playing VR?
I'm an absolute lazy
so
bastard.
What about when you
I tend to sit down unless I have to get up.
What about the Wii, when you used to play Wii bowling and that with everyone?
Well, that would have been in the lounge, and
would you have been stood up though?
Yeah, it was okay, and we would have been kind of looking down at the telly.
Well, you could probably adjust you could adjust the strings if you just want to sit on your arse and kick your feet out in front of you.
I do, Chris. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I'm sure there's a way to change
I get
it.
up when I have to.
Yeah. That's fine.
Generally speaking, I get up when I'm made to.
As of
all
I want to know, as of when it launches, how many things are you going to be able to create? Have they said this? Have they?
So you've got the 2 packs. You've got one which is the robot that actually, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's
and
that's
the
pack.
more expensive one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the £89 one? I think. Yeah.
And
that's a separate game as well, right? That's like a game and the box to build the robot. That's one whole separate thing.
Yeah, that's one. And then the other one, it's a piano, fishing rod, like motorbike handles for like a course that you can build, which is
Did you play that one?
Yeah, it's kind of cool because
is that Mario Kart or not?
No, it's not. But again,
Okay.
You never know what they can do.
It could be.
But, it's very accurate to how you control a motorcycle. Like, you've got a cardboard button that you press in for acceleration, and then you turn the sticks to rev up and the handles to rev and stuff. And also, I was told that you can use the Joy-Con separately, like out of the actual handles, to draw your own race course, which is kind of cool,
Cool.
And then there's like this weird house that you can build, which you put your switch in, and it's easily the shittest thing that they did. You've just got like this. You've got like this little creature, which is essentially a Tamagotchi, that you can make him run in a hamster wheel, or you can like shake his house around to fuck him up. And like he'll be stood there, and you turn the screen, and he falls into the corner, and all his like possessions just tumble on top of him, like a proper mess of it. And then there's like a little, I say platformer in the loosest sense. You can like put this other kind of bolt into the side, and it becomes like a side-scrolling platform where you can collect gems and duck from bombs. That was like shite. But everything else, there's like the fishing is actually quite, like, I love fishing games anyway, but it's quite a relaxing experience where you just sat there with your switch in front of you, moving your fishing rod around, trying to get your fish. It's actually quite good. So I'll enjoy that kind of thing. But that's the other pack, and a part of that you've got the Discover, which is where I'm about you can create your own things and put your own outputs and stuff on.
I personally think that this is the first Nintendo product that has the most, but what about this? And what do you do here? And what is the... Like, there's a lot of questions to be asked, right? And, like, for me now, if you're building the piano, the robot and stuff, is it designed in a way for you to... Do you have to take it apart, or do you leave it as is when you build it? Because, obviously, do you have to use the other parts to build other things? Or is it just, here's your robot pack, you build the robot... That's it. No, you can dismantle it. Go on.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, no, sorry. You can. The one when we first got there, we just built the little robot, and it's on one sheet of card. You push out the shapes, and then you fold the shapes over and connect them. But if you wanted to dismantle it, you can. But it is pretty much here's your robot. That's it, and then on to the next one. It's not like, I don't think there's multiple robots.
You mean the RC car robot?
Yeah, little Gordon. Yeah, that little kind of guy. Which I kind of was thinking, for adults, you could build like these RC cars, speed up the inputs, kind of play around with the Discover section, and get them wielding like blades and stuff, and have a Robot Wars face-off.
I'm just going to say that someone at some point will use the Joy-Con and Labo to make a vibrator.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm
already writing up the blueprints.
I'm telling you, if you can imagine it, someone's already either on it or going to do
it. Lads, this game is for kids.
I know, but...
Yeah, but someone will ruin it, because someone always ruins everything.
Yeah.
You'd be like you just did. For anyone listening now.
I'm gonna get like a fruit pastels like tube that you can get for Christmas, the little tubes. Yeah. Whack one of the tops of the plastic Kinder eggs on, and strap the Joy-Con inside.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, that's proper DIY. That is, to be fair.
But I won't actually do that. Maybe. But on the whole, boom.
Oh mate.
Shit.
Hang on, just a sec. Let me write down that for the podcast
title. It's a cool little product, which I can't really go from that to kids. I feel wrong.
No, you can't.
So yeah, Labo, it's cool.
Labo vibrator
on the whole. Yeah, I mean, listen. Moving away from Labo because we need to. It's time to talk more God of War, and I said a lot last week. So for now, I doubt it's going to stay for long, but I think it's whoever just wants to take the floor and run with it. You guys have all played. Chris reviewed it, obviously, so he's finished it.
You started off.
Yeah,
you started off.
Okay. Well, I mean,
is it better than God of War? Is it better than Labo?
Oh God, yeah. I'd choose God of War over pretty much any game at the minute. I absolutely adored it, and there's so many good things you could spend ages talking about, which I won't. But I kind of want to start off talking about Corey Barlog, who the director, and there's kind of a lot of stuff that's been on social media in the last kind of week that's actually quite good for gaming, and it kind of it shows what games mean to the people that make them and how reviewers do play a role in what they say. And there's a video he did where he's basically, it's a review reaction where he's reading the reviews and he's just in tears, and it's clearly like an incredibly moving experience. He spent 5 years of his life playing this game, and it kind of highlighted to me that there's a lot of people out there that are spiteful with some of the things they say, and no one in particular, obs, but they just don't really think, and they can hurt a lot of people by starting hashtags and being rude to certain developers, where actually all they want to do is make fucking great games, and it just goes to show that they do listen. But despite that, God of War is easily Game of the Year so far. It could very well be Game of the Year by the end of the year for many factors. Basically, the thing I enjoyed the most was just the combat. I just think that Leviathan axe is incredible. I love the first time I threw it, like Thor's hammer, was just like bonkers. And the fact you can throw it and then it can either get lodged in someone's forehead or it kind of freezes a mechanism, and then you can carry on fighting with your fists or your shields. And then like 2 minutes later, once you've taken everyone else out, you can then recall your axe and carry on going. Like, it's so smart. And obviously,
I love it that it'll hit things on the way back as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
That I found brilliant.
And you start to kind of think like that as well, don't you? Where if you see the path of the axe coming back, it's like someone, like a Drogo's about to walk in front of you. You call it back and it just twats them in the back of the head and takes them out. Yeah, it's just like that. That's just like stupidly good mechanism. But like just on overall, it's just, I just love it. The story's fantastic. The characters are fantastic. It's just a really great game. And I know we've said this, but there isn't one thing I could say bad about it. Just there's literally nothing. And the fact that as you play, you're like, there are points where you go, is this it? Is this it? Is this it now? And I'm fine with it because I'm enjoying it. And then they throw something at you, and it's like it changes everything. And they do that a lot with everything, with with everything. And as I say, I would never wish of spoiling anything, so I'm going to stop talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's excellent, and I'm so glad I've had the chance to play it. And I think well done to Sony Santa Monica for making such a fucking great game.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Is it between like this and Red Dead 2 for Game of the Year, do you think?
I think yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at the releases and I can't see anything else that would even compare to those two games, and it's
maybe some surprise E3 stuff.
Yeah,
that's out this year.
What, I'm always looking forward to that, and there's always that good chance that we'll see that. But on all the games that have been announced are definitely coming this year. I mean, Red Dead's definitely going to be. It's not going to disappoint. I doubt it very highly that it will. And God of War is just phenomenal, and it's great just to see so many people going, oh, this moment, and like. You just like kind of nod your head and go, yes, yes. Those are they're just fantastic. But yeah, definitely God of War will be in top two.
Where are you?
See anything else toppling it?
Where are you at it, Gary? Whereabouts?
Hard to say without spot. I mean, I'm quite early on. I'm only about 3 hours in, but I'm making my way around the lake.
Okay.
If that makes any sense to anyone.
There's a lot of water.
It's the first kind of boat lake bit
you
come to. I'm just milling about there doing some of the side quests. And I did die. I got one-shotted by some thing.
Oh yeah.
I was just like sat there. What the fuck just happened? But I think it's one of those things that I still need to put things together before I can go back. An enemy
with a purple health bar by any chance?
I don't remember. I don't really remember seeing much of it. I just remember seeing a hammer coming at my head, and suddenly I'm dead. But I'm really enjoying it so far. The opening was really well done.
I'm thinking about playing a God of War drinking game. Every time he says boy, take a shot of whiskey, because he fucking says it a lot.
You'd be fucked about like 20 minutes in.
I just want to say it to my kids, but I can't because they're girls and it just doesn't have the same ring to it. But like Kratos, he's just he's ace.
Yeah. I nearly said, "Oh, is this a spoiler?"
See,
I'm gonna err on the side of caution. But there's a line Kratos says to Atreus that I nearly said in a joking way to one of my children. Then I realised you're a dickhead. They won't get it, and you'll just sound like a wank, basically. So, Adam, how are you finding the God of War?
I'm absolutely loving it. I think everything so far that I've played, which is about 10 hours of gameplay, has been... Yeah,
wow.
I've really I've really gone for it. It's kind of immediately hooked me to the point where I've been setting my alarm yesterday morning, like really early, to get up and play. And
wow,
if I'm honest, it's doing a lot of things that I've seen before in games, like subtle things, but the way it's delivered in this game is beyond special. So I have to it's very, very light things I'm going to say. This is not heavy spoilers at all. It's not even a spoiler. But you know what I mean, because it's very early days in the game when you meet a character called the Stranger. Yeah. Okay?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. That entire sequence...
I mean, I've seen people literally say that person's name on Twitter already, and I'm like, really? Yeah. Have you forgotten the fact they don't give you that early on? You know?
It's if you're spoiling that stuff, that's just brutal. But that scene from your first interaction with each other, that whole moment is probably one of the finest things I've ever watched in a game, simply because it's the one scene where I kind of understood, okay, so that's what video game direction is about. The way...
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
The way the camera is flying around the place reminded me so much of Injustice 2, the way the fight scenes work in that. It's just insane. It's like on par with like Avengers movies in terms of the action sequences. You're just like, holy shit, like, and you feel every bit of anger that Kratos has coming out of him. It's just like, yeah, I'm with you. Let's fucking bash the R1 and R2 buttons. Let's go crazy. I think that's incredible. But the star of all this is the relationship between his son. Like, I don't have kids. I've said that many times, but fucking hell, I love how this is delivered. Simply because it's just not typical, and Atreus isn't useless. And I know, Adam, you said that, and Chris, you even said it in your review. Like, he's not a nuisance. It's not like you're guiding him all the time. He's always there. He benefits so much within the fight scenes. But my favourite part so far is like Atreus is almost teaching Kratos the act of kindness is alright. And like to be totally just to be sympathetic in certain occasions is fine. And I feel it's really strange, but I kind of love to sit down with the developers and go, by any chance, did you take a slight influence from the likes of like Terminator 2? Because John Connor and the Terminator, the way they react, like, do you know, because the Terminator would do like outrageous shit, and then John Connor's like, you can't do that, you know, like, you can't kill this guy. It almost feels like that at times, that Atreus is like, just chill out, like, look, whatever. But then when you reverse it around, like Kratos, like, he'll just lift like a massive boulder, and his son is just like, holy shit, I have a strong dad. And he doesn't like,
yeah, my dad
is cool as fuck.
Also the worst.
Like, there's these hilarious moments like that. But then, I don't know if you got this really, but I felt that it was a very video game fan moment. And it's, so do you know the weapons character, Brock, I think is his name, okay?
Brock and Sindri, yeah.
So Brock, right, there's just one line he says, and honestly, this game is so long, I just have to say it though here because it's so funny, and I hope you picked up the same way. But Brock appears like randomly, like in the world, like every other video game. Like any person that's like a weapon person would just randomly have a stall somewhere, And it's really funny because Atreus walks in and he gets surprised by seeing Brock in this particular location. And Atreus goes, Brock, how did you? And then, like, Brock just turns around and goes, what does he say? He goes, none of your fucking business. It's just like, ignore it. Really. Because if you think about it, in the situation of a video game, you could question, how the hell did he get there? But it's like, it just plays a little...
The Resident Evil stranger.
Exactly, and it plays a little hilarious kind of gamer joke, I felt it was. Then also, just the battles for me so far, I think the combat is absolutely stellar, how it's building upon itself, because at first it's just R1 and R2, but when you get these combo skills and stuff, it's just like, holy shit, it's insane. And I find a lot of the battles actually get quite intense. Like, I think there's some battles where you barely get by it because it gets so mental with enemies. Like, look, I don't really have anything bad to say as well about this game so far. Like, I'm totally invested in the character. I think they've completely done the right thing for this franchise. It is already the best God of War game from what I've played, and they've actually made Kratos a character that I really fucking give a shit about now. And to introduce his son, it's like I'm really like, I think the son is just an absolute star as well. Like, every character so far has been a star, and the music as well. I know you both brought it up. I listened to the soundtrack like a week before the game. Like, oh my god, the way it's just composed and put into the video game is just next level. And I think, to go on the video that you were on about, Chris, where the developers like looking at the reviews, I fucking can understand how he feels, because he has created an absolute masterpiece in video games, and I'm still only 10 hours in, and I can say that, like, it is something special, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. But like, we need to do a spoiler cast. We'll have to do a spoiler cast. Like, I know we say this about certain games, but this has to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's an important fucking game. And I've seen people debating whether to get God of War or Yakuza 6. Like, get both fucking games, because they're just both incredible. But God of War just needs to be played by absolutely everyone. I think anyone is remotely into like action, just game designing in general, music, like story, history, it's all in this game so far. Like, people need to play this. Like, I know a lot of people are, but
I'm glad people are picking up on the sort of production values and the direction of this game, because it's I said it last week and I maintain it. I think it sets a new bar.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to be, in the time to come, we're going to see what games like Zelda, which did set a new bar in different ways, but like these are two. I'm still playing God of War. I'm still doing side stuff, like in between life. This is the only game I've played.
And it's also,
and I just want more.
Yeah, and it's also like incredibly funny. Like, I would never have thought about saying a God of War game can be funny. Like, the fact that Kratos is such a bitter piece of shit. Like, he just...
it's got so much heart, though, this game.
Like, there's so much heart, but, like, there's another... Like, the constant interaction between the two of them, no matter what you do, is so humorous. There's even a slight moment where Kratos might lift something heavy, and then Atreus goes, "Oh, did you hurt your back?" And he's like, "No, I did not hurt my back." And it's just, like... so blunt. It's like, I'm a man, I'm Kratos, I never get sore, that's just the way I am. Like, it's an exceptional stuff. It really is.
It is. We're going to be talking about it for weeks to come, I think, as you guys get further in. I mean, Gary, have you got anything to add, or did you want to give us a Far Cry update or anything else?
No, I mean, I've pretty much only played God of War. And really? Even then, like, I've only played those few hours. I've not played an awful lot of... Well, I've played one game, but I can't talk about that till next week, obviously.
No, Swords of Ditto we'll talk about next week.
Yeah, that's kind of all I've been playing, but I'm really looking to play more God of War. I really enjoyed it. So I played it, about 2 hours on like release day. I picked it up and just sort of sat down. I was like, right, I'm just going to play it, and next thing I know, 2 hours had passed. I was like, oh shit, maybe I should go and get something to eat. And then, like, shortly before we came on the podcast, I'd played it for a little bit as well. So it's like I'm getting time here and there to just kind of sit and play, and hopefully I'll have a bit more.
Interesting question for you guys, I think. Is it making any of you think about, should I get a Pro?
Oh, big time.
Big I would
time.
Love one. Yeah.
I'm still on the I'd want a 4K TV before I get a Pro or an X.
Okay.
I know that it does good stuff for 1080p TVs and stuff as well, but I just if I'm going to do it, I want the whole hog, You
want the... Yeah, no, fair enough.
No, I'm the same. I've only got a 42-inch plasma, haven't I? So, so I want a decent TV before I even went there. Yeah.
I very quickly just want to say as well that I finished Far Cry.
Okay.
I loved it. I loved Far Cry. I think it's the best Far Cry. Yep. I think it's a lot of fun.
I agree.
I think it starts off incredibly strong. It gets to a point where I don't care. But then you said you'd be interested to hear how I'd feel about the story once I go to Fate's region. If I'm honest, it didn't change anything for me. I didn't really care.
Okay.
I was just like...
Sure.
I was like, yeah, okay, this kind of thing in Far Cry. All right, fair enough. However, something has to be said here. That ending is...
Without
I'm
spoilers,
not saying a single thing here other than what a pile
you won't need
donkey piss.
Yep.
That ending. That fucking ending.
Yep.
Like, I turned... No joke. The game finished. I turned. My girlfriend was down in the bedroom. I went down and I said, I need to speak to you because I have no one to speak to at this time. And she said, what's wrong? I went, okay, so you know that game I was playing? She was like, yeah. I went, so this is what it was about. I explained the premise of the game, and then I said, this is what I did, and this is the time I put into it and stuff, and then this is how it ended. And she just looked at me and went, oh, that doesn't sound great. And I was like, thank you, I'm going for a walk.
Yeah. I mean, it's another game I'd kind of like to do a spoiler cast for, but I don't think there's any point.
No, there's not.
Because I think it would just be us all just whinging for 20 minutes about the ending, and I don't think we'd get anywhere, and I don't know that would be an enjoyable listen for anyone.
Genuinely, do you know when I was hearing about it, I was kind of going, oh, people aren't happy with the ending. Like, there's no way anyone could predict this ending. Like, if you said, I'll give you 100 guesses to guess how this game ends, you will not get it. It's so bizarre. It's so fucking bizarre that was the decision. Like,
it's oddly brave in a way to end a game so badly, because there's money and time gone into creating the cutscenes and stuff that show you the ending. So it's almost brave that someone's gone, this is how we should do it. It's just also really stupid that no one went, we could do that, but should we? You know,
because I just want... I just want, if they do another Far Cry, just make it a really fucking strong story. That's all that's needed here, because the gameplay is pretty much perfect, in my opinion. I think...
See, I don't think we're ever going to get that. I think if Far Cry 6 happens and that's what you want, I think they're going to have to make it a 10-hour non-open world game. I think it's not...
The original was.
Yeah, it was, and it was a good game, actually. But it's not the easiest of things to create an open world game with a story that works for 40 hours. I think that's one of the reasons God of War is so impressive, because it maintains and holds you for 30 hours, whereas GTA 5 or something is a game that can do that, but there's The Witcher maybe, but that does it because it makes all the side stuff of value and interesting. But there are very few games I think that can hold you have a story that holds you for 30 to 50 hours. I'm not saying that's an out, because I'm very much of the opinion, and I don't know what Chris thinks, but I'm very much of the opinion that despite the ending being poor, I still love the game.
The thing is, like, Far Cry is the most fun I've had with a game this year. Like, God of War is just brilliant. It's just fucking a masterpiece in game development and story, and the action is great. But Far Cry's gameplay, it's kind of just... It's like going to an arcade. You go in there and you go mad and just do stupid shit. And blowing up stuff in this game, like, honestly, when a plane is coming down, like, straight at you, and you're just standing there in front of it with a sniper, and you pin that pilot, and it crashes, what a moment. How satisfying. Like, incredibly, like, just incredible fun. But it's just, they can't be delivering that kind of, like, finale. Like, fuck off. Like, and they build up this, like, great premise. There's this great template, like, beforehand, and a villain, and then you're kind of going, why can't you just be super controversial, just be fucking wild with everything, and just stand out some way with your story? Don't fall on your arse with it, because that is literally what it does. But it's good. It's a really good game, though. Other than that,
yep, I agree. Right, well, let's get into some gaming news, because there's a lot to talk about. Quite a healthy dose of Microsoft, actually. Microsoft is hiring for future Xbox design projects. Job listings point to GDDR6 in the next Xbox. So, what does that actually mean, Gary? Basically, the Xbox One X, it uses DDR5 RAM, and it's going to be DDR6 for the next Xbox. This, I think, sounds like a hardware revision rather than a new Xbox. I don't know what you guys think.
I suppose it's just, I mean, there's not a lot to go on, is there, really, on this story, really. It's just a job listing, so, but I don't know, can you do another X or something, in this generation, or is it just...
Well, the thing is if PlayStation make another console, I mean, let's do this, right? Chris, Adam, Gary, we're at our meeting. We work for Sony now. I'm the head of Sony PlayStation division, and you guys are my leading marketing agents. Chaps, we had tremendous success with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. We've got our new ultra-powerful console. It's even more powerful than the PS4 Pro, and it's our next-generation hardware. Obviously, we've had success in the past with our PlayStation brand. What? If we could go in the room, chaps, I need to hear your ideas for what we call our next PlayStation, our fifth PlayStation, if you will.
PlayStation X.
Chris, you're fired.
I'm going to go work. Fuck you, I'm going to go work for Microsoft then.
That's fine. We'll go to their boardroom in just a minute. Gary, what would you call our fifth PlayStation, if you will?
See,
No, Gary.
You're wanting me to say PS5, but...
I mean, listen, if you think that's a good idea.
What do I have?
I've got nothing for this.
Adam.
I'm trying to think, boss.
Gary, you're still hired, but just... It's the fifth generation of our PlayStation hardware. It comes after the fourth PlayStation, which was called the PlayStation 4. I know you guys are new, but I just want to remind you that it was called the PlayStation 4 and that it was the fourth PlayStation. And so this is the fifth PlayStation. Adam, it's really important to me, was the last guy in the room. What should we call our fifth PlayStation home console?
Oh, Jesus. Pressure.
I knew I should have got that countdown clock installed in this office.
PlayStation. This is brutal.
I'm going to have to push you.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything. Look, I'm trying to make money here.
I'm losing it, throwing it at you three fools. This is a disgrace. You're all fired. I'm calling it the PlayStation 5.
That's it. That's all you asked for.
You're all rehired now. You've got it. But let's go over to the Xbox boardroom, okay? And again, same scenario. We've had the X, tremendous success. Adam, Gary, and Chris, you're hired here. I know you left PlayStation, but we want you, Chris, because Sony was so successful last gen. We need a bit of that success. We're glad to have you, Chris. Thank you for coming over to Microsoft. The Xbox brand is strong. Right. We're going to make it even stronger. Okay, Chris?
I've got a name.
Now, bear in mind... Okay, you've read my mind, but bear in mind we had success with the Xbox, and the Xbox 360 was the best console of that era. Everyone agrees that.
Yep.
It's fair. We went down a different route with the newest generation they're currently talking about. Obviously, this is all under strict NDA. The Xbox One, terrific. Then we rebranded slightly with the S, and then we came out with the X. The X wasn't an amazing idea. Listen, some would say that the Scorpio would have just been fine if we just called it the Xbox One Scorpio, but we wanted to call it the X. But this is kind of our next generation This is not just we're not just pushing the Xbox One up. This is a new Xbox. This is like the second Xbox One, if you will, Chris.
Yeah.
But we need a name for this new generation of Xbox ones, the second Xbox One. You know.
Well, if it's Xboxes in general, it would be the fifth one, wouldn't it? So how about Xbox 5?
You're fired. Actually,
we get my old job back at Sony then.
No, hang on. I take it back. You're promoted because that kind of thinking could get us big internet hits. We're not going to go with Xbox 5, although we should, because that would be amazing. And you're promoted. But Gary, what would your suggestion be?
Now, are we talking a new hardware division?
Gary, I've given you all the information you need to do your job, I'm afraid.
See, we've already got an Elite. You can't call it unless we call it the Xbox One X Elite.
No, but this is a new generation. This isn't a half step. This is a new console. Sony have got their PlayStation X that they've announced that Chris named. They fired him.
Well, everyone
it was
else
really poor
days,
because they fired him, but they kept the name he used. It was really wrong. That's why we took Chris, because we have respect for our employees.
I appreciate that.
So that's their new hardware. I mean, I think they should have called it the PlayStation 5, Gary, but they went with PlayStation X. So what are we calling our new Xbox?
Surely, with the way today's market is, it should just be called the Xbox.
I like it, Gary. This the Apple iPhone sort of. It's stupid. I like it. So we've got the Xbox 5 and the Xbox, just the Xbox, and that won't be Gary. You don't think that'll be confusing because we already have one called just the Xbox?
Can you confuse Xbox?
It didn't have that at the start. It was just Xbox.
So hang on.
Yep. Yeah. No.
So we're going to call it the Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine because that will be SEO brilliance. That will work. Maybe we bring when we do the revision and we have the slightly different controller. Maybe we call it the Duke. Adam, have you got any ideas about what we could potentially call this new generation of hardware?
The Station of Play 6.
Oh wow! I mean, because they can't call this next thing an Xbox 2. They can't.
Do you know what they should call it, honestly, though? I think it'd be really cool to just say X. That's it. Do you have the X?
See, I think they should call it the Xbox Onyx. So, because if you look at the branding now, Xbox One X, but make it as in the Pokemon Onyx, ONYX.
Oh. So
they take the X and it becomes a Y, move it along a bit, and then put another X after it. Or they could do the gamer tag thing of like XX underscore Xbox underscore Xbox Xbox.
See, I always liked Xenon. That was like the code name for the Xbox One, I think it was.
But people are not going to know how to pronounce Xenon, and they're going to call it Exxon or something, which is an oil company. They wouldn't call it an Xbox 2, would they?
I don't think any of us are going to be able to predict what they're going to call it. It's
just 2 with a little 2 at the top, like
squared.
H2O, yeah, like squared.
That's actually not bad. X squared.
I think
Gary's right.
I'm sure there was a game with that though. There was a game called X2, and it was like with that.
To be honest, I think you're right. I think if they do a new one, they'll just go the Apple route and go Xbox. And it'll always forever sound like there's another word coming that never actually does. It'll be like that conversation we go, oh, have you seen the new Xbox? And you sort of say, and they go, oh, that was it. Sorry. Let's stick with Xbox news. And the May Xbox update has added folders, essentially. Well, will add groups, which are basically folders. You can, the picture they've shown is actually quite a cool idea, but it suggests people have got bigger hard drives because, there's 100% complete folder where they've, I guess, 100% completed it. I don't want to say about time, but
it is
kind of about time. Yeah, I mean, Gary, the thing I wanted to ask, because I think you use your Xbox a little more than I do, is I know that they were going to fix the Twitter sharing and stuff because it was cumbersome. You shared a link to an Xbox page and it didn't show up properly.
Yep.
Have they actually fixed that, or is that part of this?
No, it's on the preview at the minute, which I'm not on. But yeah, so the preview they've done it. But the one thing that they're at, I think it's part of this new update, which everyone will have it. But they're also going to be changing it slightly so you'll be able to edit it directly as well.
Yes, the trim clips directly in the guide. Yeah. So they've added. They're basically kind of moving away from the. What was it originally called, where you had the live tile, like so you could sort of hit your dash button and the game would still be running. They're kind of moving away from that and going back to almost a weird, almost like Blades overlay.
Yeah. Why not?
But I'm all for it. Like if it's. Yeah, I mean, if it makes the system snappier and quicker to use, then.
Well, that's it. Ever since they got rid of... I can't remember what it was called either, but ever since they got rid of that... Snap, that was it, wasn't it? The snap feature.
Yes.
Ever since they got rid of that, it's been so much smoother. It's still a little slow at times, but it's so much quicker. But it's just... That's one of them. If you want to, just trim down your clip a little bit, it's like, okay, I'll do that, but oh no, I've got to go to Upload Studio. Then I've got to upload it to upload and select separately if I want it to OneDrive. And it's just like, why can't I just have it, just send it to OneDrive? Why do I have to upload it? It's just...
I think a lot of because even the X can be sort of, not laggy, but a bit slow. I think the thing is now that these consoles are pulling so much data from the online space.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. But I want to stick with Microsoft for one last story here quickly, because May is going to be a good month for them, because along with those updates, they've put the Games of Gold stuff out, and that's a fine month. We have got Super Mega Baseball 2. I really enjoyed the first one of those. We've got Metal Gear Solid 5, which is a fantastic game. Streets of Rage as part of the backwards compatible, the Sega Vintage.
Really?
Yeah, the Sega Vintage collection. And Vanquish.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's so. Yeah, May the 1st is Super Mega Baseball. That's 1st to the 31st. Metal Gear Solid comes on May the 16th to June the 15th. Streets of Rage hits on the 1st of May till the 15th, so don't forget to go download that. And Vanquish is May 16th to 31st. That's a fantastic month, quite honestly. Mm-hmm. I know they've often been smashed by Sony's PlayStation offerings, and Sony have just had a terrific one with Bloodborne, but that is a superb month of free games, which, let's be fair to them, on the back of April's, which was Assassin's Creed Syndicate, The Witness, and Dead Space 2, which is also three. Well, I'm not as huge a fan of The Witness as everyone else is, but fantastic games.
Yeah,
credit goes to you, I suppose.
That's great. Streets of Rage.
Adam, tempted you to get Streets of Rage, man? Yeah, definitely. Are you tempted by Xbox yet, Adam? Are you hearing all these good things?
Well, I want one, of course I do. I still want to play Sea of Thieves. I still want to play PUBG. Do you know? But they're moving on now, and fuck it, what am I going to do? Fuck that shit.
Well, the Xbox 5 coming 2020, so yes. Just a very brief story, actually. I noticed this. I think I saw it in my inbox. I don't know, but it's not much of a story. It's just that, do you remember that game at E3, the Darwin Project, that we played the early access build of, or the preview program on Xbox One?
Yeah.
It's now free to play on Steam. It's just gone free to play on Steam.
Okay.
Oh.
And I thought that was kind of weird, because
but God of War is out now.
Yeah.
Do you know? So we're playing that.
Fair comment.
You know what I mean?
Listen, if you want to go and play it, I don't know what that means for the Xbox version. I don't know if that's going to go free. I don't know what they're doing there, but this bit strange. Konami, everyone's favourite publisher, have had their partnership with UEFA ended. Now, what this means is that for, I think it was 10 years, but certainly for a long time, they had an exclusive partnership whereby the Champions League and the Europa League were branded, and they looked incredible. They looked incredible. They also, they were part of the UEFA Champions League esports tournaments and stuff. That deal is no longer in place. It doesn't mean, I don't think it means, well, I'm not actually sure what it means, apart from the fact that EA are going to be involved now with FIFA, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't affect any of the teams' licensing, which is what Adam Batty said. So that's a good thing. It's fine. They might have something else in the works. It's the new PES is going to start, leaking out rumours and that soon, as it always does. And just on the strength of the game, it's going to be exciting. I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it.
Do you know what it made me think about? How with NBA, you've got NBA 2K and NBA Live, and they both have fully licensed teams and players, right? It made me think about how much it fucking sucks that isn't the case with FIFA, with football, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it fucking sucks to me because I think a lot of people blame Konami, and I think that's a really strange thing to do because if Konami could have all the licenses, they would. I don't know this for a fact, but the only thing I think that can possibly be happening is that EA are offering these people money to give them the exclusive rights. And then when, say, Liverpool or Arsenal are in PES as well, there's two teams that have gone, no.
Yeah.
We're not willing to give you an exclusive... Because Arsenal are in both games. Liverpool are in both games. You know, Barcelona have a massive deal with PES, but they are also in FIFA. It's not exclusive. And I just feel like how much better both games could be if this wasn't an issue. If it wasn't an issue that they had to, like, you know, Konami have to go out actively, clearly, and find teams to license.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't a deal like that, if it were a case of, you know, all these people who offer the licenses allowing both organisations to do it for a reasonable sum of money, like, it just makes me think how fucking corrupt football really is to the core, you know what I mean? Because how good would... You know, competition breeds better... It makes better games. Yeah. And people have to spend money and time doing this instead of that, you know?
Well, it's like... I mean, you lot will be bored of this, but... it's like EA had the rights to Porsche, for years.
That's right.
Those rights then went kind of free to everyone, not literally free, but now Porsche are in like every racing game which has any kind of realism.
Wasn't there a big deal about Forza getting them at some point?
Yeah, because like Porsche, Forza did like a big Porsche expansion for.
That's it. Yeah.
I can't. It might have been Horizon 2 or something like that where it started, and then they've kind of been in all of them since. And it's just like that's kind of what could happen if EA relinquished the rights. Like, you know, everyone could have...
But you see, I'm not sure it's even EA's fault. I feel like it's on the people who are offered the... If I come to you, Gary, and say, I want to offer you $1 million for your exclusive rights, that doesn't mean you have to accept it.
Yeah.
You can say, no, I feel that's not the right way to progress. We would like our rights in both games because we think fans of both should get that right. And you could say EA shouldn't try for exclusivity, but they're a business. And I suppose in the same way that the rights holders are too, but like, football should be for everyone. It's a big problem. Like, I coach youth football, and it's a problem I've seen from grassroots right up to the top. It's not a working class sport. It's not. I don't know if it ever was. Like, it felt like it was when I was a kid.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
about you, Chris.
I think it used to be, but that's going back decades, I think.
Well, hang on. Okay, no need for that. But like, it genuinely, like, it felt, when I was a kid, it felt like a working class sport. I felt like I had access to football, and now it just feels like, where's the future of football when you just shut us the door on everyone? And I feel like this is just yet another sign of that. You know, I don't know. I don't want to depress everyone. Let's talk about something positive. It looks like we're getting a Watch Dogs 3.
Yes.
So
this is such a bizarre story.
Yeah. Currently only available in beta in Canada, the AI assistant Sam is designed to aid players with Watch Dogs 2. With players asking questions how you know, the way you'd ask Siri or Alexa, Amazon Echo, whatever, and someone asked them about Watch Dogs 3, and the AI assistant Sam said, Watch Dogs 3 is not finished yet, but from the last early build I tried, it's very solid. The dev team works wonders. Can't wait for you to try it.
You got to wonder if maybe they put that, whether that's a genuine slip or they've put that just to mess with people. Like, people, like, we ran the story, loads of people ran the story, you know, people at Ubisoft are just sat there chuckling away like, fucking idiots. You know, you've all fallen for it.
Yeah. You're probably right. I don't know. I mean, I'm well up for Watch Dogs 3. I feel like that might be the cycle they're on now. Watch Dogs 1 year, Assassin's Creed the year after, you know? Yeah. And we know we're not getting an Assassin's Creed this year now, so...
Yeah, bring it on.
Do you know what else we're not getting for a little while yet? Dark Souls Remastered, if we want to play it where it's perfect on Switch. So not only has Dark Souls Remastered been pushed back to summer 2018 on Switch, the Solera Vestora amiibo has been as well. So
I'm gutted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I bet you are, genuinely.
I actually am, because I was like, that was what I was getting it on. And I was just, now I just...
And I told you not to.
Well, look, you're not always fucking right. Alright?
Most of the time I am.
You don't have to wait. There's still the PS4 version.
Yeah, or Xbox One or PC.
Yeah. Well, it just... Like, why do you think this is? Is it just not running right? Like...
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
What?
But, like... The weird thing about this that people have been mentioning, and I think this is a fair comment, is that it kind of felt like it was announced on Switch, and then... Oh, and it's also coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like, what does it mean for Nintendo and Bandai Namco's relationship that this has happened?
Yeah, I find it strange just in general, because it's just like, they announced it presumably quite late. You know, it's kind of like, you know, it's coming quite soon. It's only like a few months between release and the actual announcement. It's like, so surely you should have known by then that it was it's basically done. How has it got to the point where it's now, shit, we've screwed something?
Okay. So here's a cynical devil's advocate style thing. People like to double dip on that Switch. People like to buy a lot of games on Switch that they've played elsewhere, but they're like, perfect on Switch, and we joke about it, but it's a joke because it happens. People are doing it, right? Is this a cynical move to get people to buy the game because it's so beloved on PS4 or Xbox One, and then go, I'm going to pick up the Switch version 3-4 months later? Because people will. I don't think this will hurt its sales.
I think it will hurt its sales slightly, but I feel that they're going to bundle the amiibo with it.
No,
I think so.
They don't make enough amiibo as it is without trying to give one away.
I don't know. Like a lot of people are just going to buy it in the PS4 and the Xbox One, and like I don't know how many people then, when it comes out, how many people are going to go off and get the Switch one. Like, will it just be past the buzz time of the game?
You are, aren't you?
Well, I am, yeah, but I'm only like, but on this podcast, I don't think anyone else said that they were going to get on the Switch. So,
no.
Like, you know, many have played this game already as well, and I don't know. I think there'll be a couple of like the amiibo will be bundled with it.
Well, who played the Wonderful 101?
Nope.
A good bit of it, yeah.
Never.
Okay, well, Eurogamer spoke to Platinum Games, and the long and short of it is that they would really like to bring this game to Switch. They asked them a question. Atsushi Inaba, co-founder and executive director, he replied via a translator. From their perspective, obviously, there are things they can't talk about dealings they have with Nintendo. Certainly, they can say everything they said during the speech, which was, hey, we should do that, but whether it's a we are going to do that and what the likelihood of that happening is just going to have to be something you'll wait to find out. To me, this sounds like The Wonderful 101 is in development for Switch.
I think if they bring it out for the Switch, I think they'll have to like market it better, because I feel it just kind of like, it just came out in the Wii U. A couple of people played it, a couple of people loved it, but not much attention was put on it. So I think if it's coming for the Switch, they'll need to like make it look like almost, I don't know what way they'll go about it. I just think it can come out and just disappear again. And it's a great game. Yep. It's a really good game.
Problem for me is, I've heard these things so many times, like, oh, this Platinum Games game is really good, and I play them, I'm just like, I don't see it. I'm not going to go back over near again, but it's been pretty much like everyone said how good Revengeance was. I played it, I was like, it's alright. It wasn't like this astounding action game that everyone said it was. I was like, you know, DMC is better now. You know, I think that was out later, but still, it's like DMC was better. And I don't quite see it. And Platinum Games are a very strange company because they have such a dedicated fan base that almost seem to ignore the shit that comes out of that studio. You know, because they're just like, you know, but these games were really good. It's like, yeah, but it's kind of like 50% of their output is really good, or at least critically acclaimed. The other half is dog shit.
Oh, they have an A and B team for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's almost like the stuff that comes out that's their own stuff, I suppose Metal Gear aside, is the stuff that seems to do well. It's all the licensed stuff that it's almost like they don't, but it's almost like they half-arse it. You know what I mean? It's like it's a strange one that it only seems to be the licensed stuff that doesn't really do that well.
Well, I mean, what else is there to say? But Valve bought Campo Santo, the developers of Firewatch.
Oh God, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Haven't Valve been going on about coming back and making some games?
Yeah,
there's been rumblings then of it, and like Campo Santo made Firewatch, which is arguably one of the better walking simulators. I don't like saying that, but it is. And I think, well, who knows? If they've got a bigger studio, they could make Half-Life 3.
Oh, stop.
Confirmed at E3.
As written by that.
No, but just a new game by Valve with Campo Santo. I don't know. It's promising. It's exciting. So we'll just see.
I think
Gabe Newell. The quote was basically they're back in the business of making and shipping games because they've got Artifact, that digital card game.
Yeah,
a bit like Hearthstone.
Yeah.
And they called that the first of one of several games that are going to be coming from us. So,
can I just say thank you?
Yeah.
Because you're the first person I've heard actually pronounce it Hearthstone.
Well,
everyone else calls it Hearthstone, and I'm like,
Hearthstone?
No, it's a hearth.
It's Hailstorm. Hearthstone. Hearth.
I've never heard anyone call it Hearthstone.
I've heard so many people call it Hearthstone, and it's just I don't get it.
It's Hearthstone.
Yeah,
that's literally what it's called. I didn't know there was another way of pronouncing it.
It was the same. To be fair, actually, I think it was the same when they did. Was it Hearthfire for Skyrim? And people were calling it Hearthfire, and it's just like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I think that's as good a segue into listener correspondence, because Chris Hyde asks, Chris Hyde 83 on Twitter asks, what is everyone's hashtag Gary game? A game that was widely praised that you didn't get on with or just thought it was a bit meh. Anyone? I've got one. If not, I've got a biggie right away.
Go ahead.
I'll go. Stardew Valley.
Oh really?
Just didn't get it. Just didn't get on with it at all. Just not for me. Tried several times. Nah.
Pikmin. Fucking, it's just what the fuck.
I think I just heard Adam's heartbreak.
You did it enough to me last year, so
yeah, fair.
No, I've never understood it. I've never liked it. I think it's just a bit dull. Sorry, but hashtag Gary game Pikmin. Lol. YOLO. Don't whatever.
I think I'm going to hurt a lot of people here by saying Fire Emblem Awakening.
Sorry, say again?
Fire Emblem Awakening.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's just not for me.
I'm not mad. Yeah.
Okay.
Adam is like, he's just like, who is on my podcast?
No, I get it. Gary, have you got a Gary game?
I don't think I can answer this. I've already said them all.
No, I don't think you can. Actually. I think, yeah. No, that's fair.
Just wait. There'll be others.
See, you mentioned a few earlier. I'm not that big. I think Metal Gear Revengeance had a bad camera that ruined the game for me. I think everyone loves that game, and I think Wonderful 101 I just thought was all right. I never got the fast. Maybe I didn't get far enough into it, but I just did not get why everyone went mad over that game. I don't know. Yeah. Mukpoo on our Discord channel says, are there any games that you love but you know you'll probably never finish? For me it's Persona 5. I enjoy it and love the way it looks and sounds, but it's just too damn long. Yep, samesies.
Yeah, Persona 5. It's the exact same for me.
I think mine would be probably Dragon's Dogma.
Okay.
I've still not finished that game. I've now got it on PS4 and I've still not finished it. And it's just when I originally had it on 360, I think it was, and I got all the way, beat the dragon, and then it decides, no, that's not the end, you have to do all this shit, and it turns into ridiculously difficult Dark Souls kind of thing. And also, this might surprise some people, is probably Battle Chasers. Because I've championed this game so much, but it's like I almost don't seem to be getting the time to play it. And so it's like, will I ever actually finish it? I really want to, but it's just not happening.
Yeah.
It actually kind of upsets me that I won't ever probably finish Persona 5. Like, it really does infuriate me because that game is just so good. But I cannot dedicate all that time to it. And I want to do everything in it. Like, there's so much dialogue, there's so many characters to talk to. Like, I want to do it all, but, like, you're talking, like, 100 hours or something. Like, God of War right now is... Yep. God of War is, like... It is more than enough for me. Like, it's... Like, I'll see... Like, but when did you finish? 30 hours, 40 hours that way? People are going...
I think I was about 35, but I've kept going, so yeah. I'm up to probably about 40 now.
Games are just too long sometimes. They're just too fucking long.
Chris, has Chris got any before we move on?
I'm sure we've answered a similar question a while ago, and it was BioShock. I've still not finished BioShock. And I love it, but, like, yeah, just never finished it.
Yep. Do you know, just before we move on, another one, The Witness. Everyone loved that game. I just found it made me feel stupid sometimes, and I didn't like the game for making me feel stupid. I could admire what it was trying to do, but I just couldn't. Just there were certain sections my brain couldn't do. I'm obviously a thick bastard, but there you go. It is what it is.
It's actually quite funny you say that though, because I feel like I love The Witness, but that's definitely a valid point you made by saying when that game came out, do you think some critics maybe reviewed it as high because they didn't want to look like they didn't understand it? I'd be curious to know an honest opinion on that from people.
You'll never get it. You'll never get that. That is the end of the podcast. As always, we appreciate you listening. And if you do like us and you want a bit more of it, go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek. For $1 a month, you'll get the podcast early every week and extended every week. You'll get extra videos, exclusive videos, early content, and generally, more of an insight into what goes on the site. If you want to send us questions for the podcast, you can do so at podcast@godisageek.com, or you can tweet us at GodIsAGeek or any of us individually. I'm at GBSF. At First Avenger 83 is Chris, at Blue Fury 47 is Gary, and at Adam's Oaks is Adam. You can also, if you want to come on our Discord channel, you can find links to that and stuff all over the place. I'm not going to read the URL out for that, but generally speaking, if you type God is a Geek and followed by your preferred way of corresponding with us into Google, you'll find it pretty quickly. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here this week. As always, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
pleasure. Thank you.
And come back next week to hear probably some chat about Swords of Ditto, a game by Devolver Digital that we're looking forward to talking to you about. But otherwise, thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you next week or whenever you choose to listen. Bye for now.